You're welcome back to the Gavel. Now, the Federal Capital Territory has been experiencing rapid growth in population in the last few years. Be it for socio-economic reasons, tourism, or for whatever reason, we have seen a steady influx of people into the capital city. This population growth has stretched infrastructure in the Federal Capital Territory to its limit. And the Senate Committee and FCT is putting strategies together to increase internal revenue of the FCT to meet this infrastructural challenge. Like many major cities in the world, Abuja, the country's federal capital, is daily accommodating more and more people who troop to the city for socio-economic reasons, tourism, or whatever else. This has increased the population of the FCT far and above what the government thought it would be. The huge rise in population has also stretched infrastructure almost to breaking point. It's no wonder that the Senate, which oversees the FCT, is trying to look for ways of generating revenue, which will in turn be used to upgrade infrastructure in the capital city. To achieve this, the Senate is working on the bill to establish the FCT Internal Revenue Board. The bill seeks, among other functions, to set up the FCT Internal Revenue Board for the collection and administration of revenue generated within Abuja. Chairman, Senate Committee and FCT, Senator Smart Adeyemi, said considering the continued reduction in the budget of the FCTA might not be able to deliver on its mandate of providing the needed infrastructure for the federal capital and the satellite towns.
What we are trying to do in the National Assembly now is to empower the FCT to be able to have a board of internal revenue like other states of the Federation. Don't forget that the 1999 Constitution described the FCT as a state, as if it is a state of the Federation. Now, once this bill is passed, then the FCT will have the power to go ahead to look at other avenues to generate revenue, including, of course, imposition of taxes. But again, like you saw the argument today in the course of the discussion of the bill on the establishment of the Board of Internal Revenue, we have to deliberate on it and have an idea of and regulate, so to speak, how much people will have to pay. You know, we are talking about property tax now. We are talking about the percentage of what people should pay. Now, the taxes should not be that which will weigh down the people. Taxes are not supposed to be too high to make it impossible for people to pay. You know, when you impose a tax, the tax must be within what is affordable. That is when people will be glad to pay, okay? And you do not impose a tax as if you are selling a plot of land, or as if you are selling a liter of petrol, okay? Taxes are meant to help in augmenting, but in doing that, if everybody should come together to believe in it and pay, it is well for the society.
Senator Adeyemi says one of the ways of generating more revenue in the FCT is through the introduction of property tax.
When Abuja was conceived as a federal capital territory, the population that was envisaged within the first 10-15 years is probably, it has tripled. You know, not talk of 30 years of its existence. Now the population of Abuja is ever increasing. So what that says is you must look for the possibility of getting more revenue to meet the needs and aspirations of the city, of the people of the city. The city is expanding perhaps more than any city in Nigeria. Every Nigerian, the largest, they want to be in Abuja. Even if not for a month or come and stay, they want to stay for a week or two. All this intends on the infrastructure facilities that we have. So we must start thinking of how to generate enough revenue. Don't equally forget that you talked about the national budget, which is the one that is to the largest very constant. Now the national budget is depreciating from 100 billion a few years back. This year is about 30 billion. Now we have the debt profile of FCT at about 470 billion. Okay, so if you don't look at the possibility of generating more revenue, we're going to have problem. And don't forget that most of these taxes are not really aimed at the downtrodden people, not the masses who will pay. You know, we are talking about property tax. Those of you who have houses in Metama and Asokoro, you are the people who will pay.
Recently, the FCT introduced a revenue-generating scheme called the Park and Pay scheme. Under this scheme, vehicle owners had to pay a certain amount of money to park their cars at specified places marked around the city center. But that scheme caused controversy in the FCT, with many Nigerians accusing the management of a scheme of shady practices. After more than a year, a federal high court in Abuja ruled that the scheme should be cancelled as it did not have any enabling law backing it. The news of the cancellation of the scheme was met with mixed reactions.
The issue of park and pay policy is a very good thing for the city, the FCT. If you go all over the world, most of the developing countries, most of the developed countries, you can see that you just don't park your vehicles anyhow. And it's a source of revenue for the administration, and it brings about the need for us to invest what is raised to be able to open up other infrastructures in other areas. So, it's a way to get employment for the teeming youths in this country.
The park campaign is very good in one part, but in the second part it's not too okay. But what my aim is that I just like the government to just cancel it like that. Because sometimes the reason why I say they should cancel it is that there's sometimes I park near road just to greet my colleagues nearby. Immediately when I just never reach the 5 minutes, they just come and lock my car. And I used to beg them with 50,000 naira for their office. So that's the reason I just say the government should cancel it, and to tell the government, the people that they should park very well, so that when they elect people that should park very well, no more to be paying unnecessary money like that. Initially, their intention is very good, but as the things is going on, the way they approach people is very, very bad. They don't have good manners to approach people. You will park your car, or maybe you pay for 30 minutes. Before that 30 minutes will expire, before you come out, they will lock your car. The harassment is just too much. So if government if they say they are going to cancel them, good and fine, because their services is not too good for people, the way they approach people. Or maybe you enter the market, or you enter the bank, your 30 minutes has not even expired. You will come out, it will be another problem on you. They will lock your car.
I think they were maintaining a level of sanity in the area of parking, but I think every law should have a human face. Their modus operandi was not well acceptable to the public. You may just park your car, pay 15 naira, go into a bank, and come back probably 10 minutes late, and it's clamped already. And you go somewhere and pay 10,000 or 15,000 for that. I don't think it's a good approach. But the system is all right. But the modus of operandi should change, so they can accommodate the populace. This is a civil service, a town for civil servants. They should bear that in mind. So all their laws should reflect what should be acceptable to us and benefit, what we should benefit. So the idea of clamping somebody's vehicle because you are about 10 minutes late shouldn't follow. What they should do is, when you come, oh, madam, you have spent 10 minutes late, can we have another 15 naira? And that is it. Instead of clamping down the vehicle and then you go and pay 50,000, or they tow your vehicle and then you end up paying 15,000 plus demurrage. It doesn't have a human face. So let them change their modus of operandi. But the idea of bringing sanity into the ways we should park our vehicles in the town, I think it's splendid.
A chairman Senate Committee on FCT has his own observations about the park and pay scheme.
Well, we hold the view that you see, democracy is just finding its feet gradually in Nigeria. People are now asking for their rights. Now, nobody went to court to challenge it when it was imposed. It is not for us as legislators to challenge it. Now it has been challenged, and we have a court judgment. Now, when they bring the bill, or if they want us to pass the bill, what we're going to do is to look at the charges. Definitely, we're not going to agree with the rate at which they are charging now, okay? Because there's no law in place to regulate. That's why you need a law in place, because once the law is in place, the lawmakers who have been elected by the people will look at the charges, what you are charging, from the affordability of the tax you are asking the people to pay. And the taxes are not meant to further impoverish the people. Okay, so we are asking people to pay 20,000 naira for wrong parking, you know, on the roads, we're going to tell you it's too high a tax, and people are not going to pay.
He also spoke about the chances of the reintroduction of a scheme.
In developed nations, the taxes are not meant to weigh down the people. That's why people are paying. So if we're going to allow the park and pay to stay, it must be within what every Nigerian should be able to pay, you know, without going for a soft loan to be able to pay for a tax of wrong parking.
The Secretary of the Federal Capital Territory Transport Corporation, Jonathan Edaro, says the scheme will bounce back, but with the legal backing to enhance orderly parking across the Federal Capital Territory.
Orderly parking, on-street orderly parking in the FCT continues, but there will be no payment. So we don't expect you or motorists to block the road of FCT and prevent people from moving from one point to the other, just because the park and pay, as they popularly call it, was declared illegal and stopped. But orderly parking continues. Along the road, we have marked the parking slots, and we are saying that this parking continues. You are not expected to drive on the walkway or block the walkway. The road traffic services personnel or the VIO, they are doing their job every day. So if you block the road, we are going to tow away your vehicle. If you block the walkways, as we have been saying, we are going to tow away your vehicle. But if you park, we are saying park, you are not going to pay anything because we are obeying the court order.
Beyond the park and pay scheme, FCT residents would want the administration to look for other creative ways of generating revenue for the capital city.
There are so many ways federal government can use to generate money. Like those people who have car. If you want to renew your car, you understand me, you want to renew your driving license, your particulars, they're supposed to put certain amount, either 5,000 to be a tax. Because many people are not paying tax. You understand me? By the time either it's 3,000 naira for tax that you are going to pay it, by the time you are renew your driving license, or by the time you are renew your particulars, there's no how money will be coming. If they do it like that, nobody will be able to see government except those people who didn't have car. But if you have car, you want to renew your driving license, you want to renew your particulars, even though you want to renew your international passport, by the time they introduce that tax, but the tax money, it will not be too much.
The market is already there. I paid 100 naira just now before coming to say market. I think that is okay. All these vehicles, both painted and unpainted, they should be given some licenses, and they should have dues that they pay to the government, to the local government, at least to the local government. Local government should find so many ways of driving revenue from the town. Even those that are the small hawkers, they should have a place they pay 50 naira every day at the end of the hawking system, even though they are illegal. The pure water person who is selling within the market here should have a place he pays. We are civil servants, we all pay our taxes. Yes, so everybody operating in Abuja should pay something.
Recent terrorist activities in the FCT have shown that the FCT urgently requires an upgrade in security infrastructure and personnel, not only in the city center, but in the satellite towns. The densely populated satellite towns urgently require better infrastructure to cater to the teeming masses who reside there. All this needs beg for increased funding for the FCT. Now this is where we draw the curtains for this week's edition of The Gavel. If you have any views or opinions you would like to share with us, please email us on thegavel@channelstv.com. Thank you for staying with us, and see you again next week.